Are you taking the right kind of probiotic? Do you know there are risks and benefits to taking probiotics? Hi, I'm Dr. Ina, and I've been studying the science of probiotics for many, many years since I've been diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2003. It's been many moons ago. I've dedicated my life to people with Crohn's, colitis, figuring out, going to the root cause of their issues, and removing the problem so it doesn't cause severe symptoms. I want to share information about probiotics, and I think today when we talk about um, probiotics in general, a lot of people still think it's one particular thing. I believe that when when a practitioner recommends, don't forget to take your probiotics when you take antibiotics, for example, or when someone says take probiotics, it means absolutely nothing. There are different types of probiotics. It's almost like saying to you, go eat some food. You could eat junk food, you could eat great food that doesn't benefit you. You could be allergic to that, or you could just eat the right food for you that's beneficial for you. Many, many different probiotics right now. The market is evolving. We are finding out things over the years that are incredibly important. So let's dive in into the information that you need to know. Is there a promise to probiotics? Absolutely. Even though many moons ago, my gastroenterologist told me there are no benefits to probiotics, otherwise they would replace the medications. That's not the case. Probiotics can help with many issues. They can help you avoid sometimes exacerbations that you typically have seasonally. And as a functional medicine practitioner and a pharmacist, I like to understand the mechanism of action, and I really study gut microbiome extensively for the past 2 decades. Just understanding that probiotics will help you balance your gut microbiome better, that alone can be an idea that it will help my immune system as well, because balancing gut microbiome is a broad term. What you want to know is how and which particular strains will help you. We have key species, we have good bugs in our gut that are responsible for many, many great functions in our system, and we really need to support those. We want to have more of the good species so they can fight for us and get rid of the pathogens and help us with immune system strength. We currently have really well-known strains that have been studied a lot, like lactobacillus, for example, and they're founded in fermented foods. You could eat your probiotic foods. You could also supplement with the lactobacillus. It's now studied for balancing vaginal health, which is incredibly important because for years and years in that industry, there were so little options for women with certain conditions. I think it's a wonderful thing that we are finding this out and avoiding heavy duty medications that were causing so many side effects, including liver related side effects. Then we have bifidobacteria. It's that keystone bacteria that's predominantly found in infants. It helps with immune system function and great digestion. But when I say predominant in infants, that's most of the current probiotics are marketed for infants will have this species, whether alone or different types of bifidobacteria. Saccharomyces boulardii is great beneficial yeast-like probiotic that cereal stomach acid. It's really helpful for many Crohn's and colitis people because I've studied that for years and years. And Crohn's and colitis people do well with, we call it Asvolati. There are different brands of Asvolati. Sometimes you could add Asvolati into a probiotic combination, and that can be useful as well, depending on each case, of course. There are new probiotics on the block, spore probiotics, Akkermansia. We have the probiophage-like probiotic that eats up some E. coli when you have, for example, a food poisoning or chronic E. coli infection. That can be problematic if it's constantly in your system without fully clearing it. And that can create another potential exacerbation unrelated to Crohn's or colitis or unrelated to your condition, but that can be mistaken for your regular flare-up, and you could be prescribed medications that were not necessary per se. The science backs up the benefits of probiotics for digestive health, for immune system support. There are probiotics that now associated with benefits for mental wellness, which is very, very important in the age where we're so worried about Alzheimer's and dementia that start to come on much earlier now, although it's now being linked to excessive overabundance of sugary products and overindulgence in sugary products. We still want to modify gut microbiome and improve mental wellness from that aspect without getting involved with medications first, right? First, lifestyle modifications, your nutritional support, probiotics, and only then you could consider if there's still need, but you really want to try to modulate gut microbiome. Now we're finding out skin improvements with probiotics, so many benefits, and again, vaginal health, I mentioned that earlier. With the probiotics, that can be risky because although it's a relatively safe product, people with severe immunocompromised, being immunocompromised undergoing chemotherapy, or they're possibly in a severe flare and they're really fighting to survive. Often probiotics are not important because some of the probiotics are live strains. Anything for these types of patients can be risky, and you want to discuss that with your doctor without a question. When probiotics can be risky as well, quality control. So buying it from a company that you don't know, where was it made, how was it made, what are the fillers in the little pill. Me as a pharmacist, the very first thing I look is the ingredient list. You see so many fillers in that bottle. You think, where is the actual probiotic? So definitely go for a good reputable brand when you buy your probiotic. And this is something that incredibly important, wrong strain for a wrong problem. And I see this more than ever now with more knowledge of which strain is for what. It wasn't available when I started all this research. We literally had 2 or 3 strains that we knew was associated with diseases. We knew that F. brandizza was associated with immune system conditions, IBD, inflammatory bowel, Crohn's, colitis. We knew that it was associated with some other autoimmune conditions. We knew that Asvolati was helpful, especially if there are cases of candida overgrowth or H. pylori. infection, but we are now seeing so much more. The new probiotics on the block, like Akkermansia, we see so much benefit for weight control. We see help with ear infection, post-antibiotic, how much difference it makes to take the right kind of species, not to get the recurrent ear infection. Very, very important to go with the right strain. So don't think probiotic is one thing and go to buy in the pharmacy. Oh, probiotic, okay, that could be completely not helpful. So all probiotics the same? Absolutely not. So it's no longer that one bottle fits all. We understand and know so much more. CFUs, those are colony forming units. Is it better to get more? Not always, especially if it's someone with inflammatory bowel disease. Sometimes they could start, or other issues or diseases associated with inflamed gut. If you're getting high CFUs and you're not prepared for them, you could have bloating, you could have pain, gut pain, you could have more diarrhea from higher CFUs. It's not always better, the higher numbers. So there is something that you would want to discuss with your practitioner and get their recommendation. Other probiotic foods are as good as supplements. That's a question I'm going to answer generally. Most of the time, no, but I know a few companies that produces probiotic foods that are as good as taking probiotic, or even better because it's digested well, absorbed well, and most of the benefits is utilized. But most of the things on the market are not as effective. For example, if you look at the label of a good, properly made probiotic food, it would say lactic acid produced by natural fermentation, versus if you buy a store-bought store-bought fermented pickles, and it would say lactic acid as an ingredient. That lactic acid was added. It wasn't naturally produced by fermentation. It really matters what you buy. And if you're buying fermented foods from like a supermarket, big brands, of course, buying organic is important, but looking in the ingredients and understand that you will only get this much out of that food. Selecting, I mentioned already, it's very important to go for a reputable brand. It's important to see the packaging. Certain ones do require refrigeration. Not all probiotics do. It's important to keep them in a dark place. You don't want to keep them in sunlight. And again, looking for specific strains that are for your case. It's that important. Just to mention, I will offer these slides. If you're interested, just comment or message me. I'll send you this particular PowerPoint if you need to read it again. Who needs to avoid those probiotics? So critically ill patients, severe immunodeficient patients, and also those with really damaged intestinal barrier. Those are the ones that, or another word is leaky gut. So unless you're working with a practitioner that's aware that you have a leaky gut and knows which probiotics to recommend for you, ideally you don't want to start on your own. If you have a really serious leaky gut, you really need to know which probiotic to start. My website is digestivereset.com. You could always grab resources there. This PowerPoint I'm going to offer for you for free. Just comment below or send me a message. And this was Dr. Ina with you at Digestive Reset this way and Melamed Institute. And I will see you guys next week.